Welcome back guys. AFMF is AMD's driver level implementation of frame generation. It has just received a major update in the form of version 2. I have already explained its functioning and setup process on my ROG Ally. In this video I'll be comparing the performance of AFMF2's different search mode presets. You can access this setting from Adrenaline software. We have access to 3 presets: auto, standard and high. At 1440p and higher resolutions, auto setting defaults to high preset. This preset helps in preventing frame generation from getting disabled during fast visual motion. According to AMD, at lower resolutions like Full HD, auto setting defaults to standard preset, which is the optimal setting. However, the FPS with frame generation enabled will not be very consistent with the standard preset when you move the camera around during fast visual motion. In this video, I'll be testing some new games on my ROG Ally compared to the previous video. Except for God of War, in that game, I'll be showing you the impact of search mode's high preset on FPS consistency with frame generation enabled. We'll be running all of these games at 900p resolution. Search mode set to standard first. This is the Adrenaline profile for God of War. FreeSync enabled. AFMF2 enabled. VSync set to off unless application specifies. Radiant anti-lag setting enabled. Performance mode, I'll just set it to quality. This preset gives us better frame generation quality during fast visual motion compared to the performance mode, which gives us slightly higher frame rates when the game is GPU bound. My Ally is running on BIOS version 339. I've set the UMA buffer size to 6GB. Using a 25 watts manual profile, all 3 power values set at 25 watts. 900p resolution, CPU boost disabled. Connected my GuliKit KK3 Max gamepad to Ally via Bluetooth mode. Let's jump into the action. Just make sure one setting from Windows is enabled. Right click anywhere in the blank area on the desktop. Now click on display settings. Scroll down to the end, click on graphics. Click on change default graphics setting. From here, make sure optimize for windowed game setting is enabled. Also make sure VRR setting is enabled. It's enabled by default. On ROG Ally, we are in. You can check the status of AFMF via Adrenaline's overlay, Alt plus R keys. It's active. Display settings, borderless mode, 900p resolution. Enable FSR2 using its quality preset. Games preset, original. Enable Adrenaline's overlay, press the Ctrl Shift and O keys together. You can see the graphics API, FPS counter, frame generation lag value. We are in. There's Kratos. Just run around. Observe the FPS counter. Yeah, it's very variable. During fast visual motion, frame generation gets disabled with these settings. Search mode set to standard. FPS is all over the place and you can observe the sluggishness. 53 FPS, 46 FPS. And I'll just stand still for a few seconds. 80 FPS. See? Okay, now I'll just change the search mode preset to high. Reload the same sequence. Reloaded the same sequence. Here we are getting around 80 FPS. I'll just sprint around. Keep an eye on the FPS counter. I'm moving the camera in complete circles. Still our FPS is staying close to 90. This is amazing. But I'm observing some graphical artifacts around the left and right edges of the display. This is the price that you need to pay for a consistent FPS with frame generation. Oh, I need to consume that green thing, health. Okay, got another chance, never mind. GPU utilization is around 98%, hitting the GPU bottleneck. But now we are getting a very consistent performance. Artifacts. So in games that involve a fast visual motion, you just set the search mode preset to high, even on ROG Ally, which AMD does not recommend due to the integrated GPU. Now I'll be testing the next game. One of my favorite games, Resident Evil 4. In game settings, I'm using the Prioritize Performance preset, 900p resolution, borderless window mode, VSync off. FSR2 enable using its quality preset. Most of the effects are disabled. I want the base FPS to be as high as possible. And that's it. Adrenaline settings, VSync enable, VSync disable. I'll enable anti-lag setting. Game's FPS even with AFMF won't be exceeding Ally's maximum refresh rate. AFMF2 disable for the time being. There's Leon. I'll be entering the village soon. Fighting against the villagers. Check out the input response. 50 to 60 FPS without frame generation. Not observing any graphical artifacts around Leon's character model. I'll just enable AFMF now. Enabled. Status active. Search mode set to standard first. Performance mode quality. Now the FPS is close to 100. Frame generation lag value only 16 milliseconds. This is amazing. This value is even less than half of the value for AFMF version 1. Input delay is not an issue. Just move the camera in complete circles. Okay, in this game FPS is not variable. You can see stays within a range of 90 to 100. Okay, I am observing some minor graphical artifacts around Leon's character model, some garbled textures. A bit difficult to observe it on a small display like the one on Ally. Nothing extreme. FPS. It's a very smooth experience. AFMF definitely works in this game. Got a very consistent FPS with standard search mode setting. I'll just switch to search mode's high preset now. Back to the game. Getting roughly the same performance using both standard and high search mode presets. Oh no, Dr. Salvador is here. Just moving the camera around. Oh my god, can't stand here. These things will kill me. I'm looking for some graphical artifacts. Yeah, they are noticeable using both of these presets. Now I'll be testing the next game. Now I'll be running a very popular game, Fallout 4. I'm basically using the high preset. Resolution set to 900p anti-aliasing TA. Not using the windowed mode. Advanced settings. From here I have unchecked motion blur setting. Border set to low. Depth of field set to standard low. That's it. We'll be loading the Boston area, known for its performance issues. Adrenaline setting. FreeSync enable. VSync set to off. Radiant chill setting enable, as the game's FPS with AFMF enable will exceed Ally's maximum refresh rate. Idle FPS and peak FPS value set to 59. AFMF disable for the time being. Yeah, there is a character. Just turn on my flashlight. Explore the area on foot. You can see base FPS is within a range of 46 to 50. Depends on the area. GPU utilization around 70%. Mongrels. And they just exploded. 43 FPS. Can observe the choppiness when looking around. See? Enable AFMF now. Active. Search mode set to standard first. Performance mode quality. Back to the game. FPS increased to around 80. Okay, someone is shooting at me. There's the guy, Raider. Close to 100 FPS. Guy just disappeared, or maybe dead. When I move the camera in complete circles, frame generation gets disabled. 60 FPS, and I can observe the crosshair flickering. See, so graphical artifacts are present. Choppiness is observable. I'll switch to high search mode. Back to the game. Ghosting around the game's HUD elements is still present, but FPS is more consistent now. Doesn't drop from 100 to 60. Moving the camera in complete circles. 90 to 95 FPS. Certain areas are more demanding. Okay, someone is shooting at me. Hiding in this building. I think I got him. Yeah, these graphical artifacts are annoying. Now I'm going to test the next game. Baldur's Gate Part 3. I'll be loading the third act, Lower City area. DirectX 11 version of the game. Adrenaline setting. FreeSync enable, VSync disable, anti-lag setting enable. AFMF disable for the time being. Display mode set to borderless window. 720p resolution. And just increase the resolution to 900p. VSync disable. FSR 2.2 set to quality. Basically using the low preset. And that's it. There's my character, Carla, my team. Base FPS is around 45. I'm just exploring the area on foot. Here I can observe the choppiness. We are out of LS VRR range. That is 48 to 120 Hz. 38 FPS. I'll just enable AFMF now. On. Status active. Search mode set to standard first. Performance mode set to quality. Back to the game. FPS increased to around 85. It's a bit variable. Okay, frame generation got disabled when I move the camera in complete circles. See? Not sure what triggered it. It got disabled again. I can observe the choppiness. Switch the mode. Set search mode to high. Let's repeat the test. Resume the game. 83 FPS. Move the camera in complete circles. Okay. Frame generation effect did not get disabled this time. Thank God. Now I am observing some minor graphical artifacts around the character model. Garbled textures. Not easy to observe on a small display. Nothing extreme though. Definitely play the game this way. Game's HUD elements are not flickering. Not observing any garbled textures around the left and right edges of the display. Enter the tavern. Blushing Mermaid. (73 to 80 FPS). This area is very demanding. Known for its performance issues. Zooming out. Top-down view. Getting better performance this way. I'll be testing the next game. Far Cry 5. Adrenaline settings. FreeSync enable, VSync disable, anti-lag setting enable, AFMF2 disable for the time being. Display settings. Window mode set to borderless, 900p resolution. Normal settings. HD textures enabled, anti-aliasing TA, motion blur disabled. We are in. Okay, here FPS is close to 60. It's a very smooth experience even without enabling AFMF. 86% GPU load. I'll just enable AFMF now. 50 to 60 FPS. On. Status active. First I'll set the search mode to standard, performance mode set to quality. Back to the game. FPS increased to around 110. I'll just move the camera in complete circles. Yeah, frame generation effect got disabled. FPS dropped down to around 56. Not observing any significant graphical artifacts. Definitely play the game this way. There may be some artifacts around the gun, very difficult to observe this. I'll just change the search mode, set it to high. It should make the FPS more consistent. It's the same sequence here. FPS is around 115. I can observe the added amount of smoothness. AFMF is definitely working. I'll just move the camera in complete circles. Observe the FPS counter. Yeah, it's not dropping below 100. Very consistent performance with the high search mode preset. But I am observing some noticeable graphical artifacts now around the gun. See? Ghosting effect. Less artifacts were produced using the standard search mode preset. Just engage in combat. A small display makes it a bit difficult to observe these artifacts. You can ignore the artifacts. Just play the goddamn game. Okay, I need to kill some bears. Not sure where these bears are. Should be nearby. I think that's the point. Oh my god, look at that grizzly bear. It's coming towards me. A good performance in Far Cry 6. Even during combat, it ran away. I'll be testing the next game. We'll be running Palworld. Graphics setting full screen mode, 900p resolution. VSync disabled, motion blur disabled as well. Anti-aliasing set to TSR. Most of the settings are set to high, except for effects quality, it's set to medium. That's it. Adrenaline settings, FreeSync enable, VSync disable, anti-lag setting enable, AFMF2 disable for the time being. There's my character. I'm at the campsite. Pals are working here. FPS is around 40. We are hitting the GPU bottleneck. Can observe the sluggishness when moving the camera around in a complete circle. 40 FPS. I'll just enable AFMF on active. First I'll set the search mode to standard, performance mode, quality. There you go. Back to the game. FPS increased to around 70. Frame generation effect got disabled when I moved the camera in complete circles. Dropped down to 36. Can observe the choppiness. Not observing any graphical artifacts. Just change the mode now. Oh my god, what happened? Search mode set to high. Back to the game. FPS is close to 60. Frame generation effect does not get disabled even when I move the camera in complete circles. There you go. Again I am observing some minor graphical artifacts around the character model. Some garbled textures. This is the price you pay for a consistent FPS. Just summon my pal. There it is. Use this pal to fly around. Again, input delay is not an issue. Frame generation lag value around 19 milliseconds. Anything less than 20 milliseconds is good. Gain some height. Other pals. Whirlwind attack. Oh my god. 55 to 60 FPS. Now I'll be testing the next game. Now I'm running Dragon's Dogma Part 2. Display mode set to borderless Windows 720p resolution. VSync disabled. Most of the effects are disabled. Low. Shadow cache setting enabled. Helps in improving the performance. Adrenaline settings, FreeSync enable, VSync disable, anti-lag setting enable, AFMF disable for the time being. There's my character. I'm in Burnworth. Very demanding area due to a high NPC count. You can see base FPS is around 24. Not expecting good results from AFMF. Base performance is so poor. GPU load is around 83%. Game's performance is limited by the CPU performance. Just enable AFMF now. On, search mode set to standard, performance mode set to quality. Let's see what happens. FPS increased to around 50. Frame generation got disabled and I moved the camera around quickly like this. Back to 25 FPS. I'll just change the search mode to high. Back to the game. 50 FPS. Moving the camera in complete circles. Frame generation effect did not get disabled. That's good to see. But I am observing a ghosting effect around my character model. Easily noticeable. Run around, exploring the area on foot. Can observe some stutters here. This particular area is very demanding. Yeah, this is not AFMF's fault. You really need a PC with a very powerful CPU to run this game smoothly in the open areas. Now I'll be testing the next game, Ghosting. Now I'll be running a very popular title, Red Dead Redemption Part 2, Rockstar launcher version of the game. Adrenaline settings for the game, FreeSync enable, AFMF2 disable for the time being, anti-lag setting enable, VSync disable, graphics setting, 900p resolution, windowed borderless mode, VSync disable, texture quality set to high, anisotropic filtering 16 times, rest of the settings are set to medium, FSR2 upscaler enable using its quality preset, API DirectX 12. This game also supports Vulkan API, entirely up to you. Enable Adrenaline's overlay. There's Arthur. I'm at the campsite. Here FPS is around 57. In the mid 50s without frame generation. 91% GPU usage. Check out the input response. Smooth experience, not bad at all. Perfect scenario for enabling frame generation. Just looking for some graphical artifacts around his character model due to FSR2 upscaler. Nothing significant. Now I'll enable frame generation. On, status active, search mode set to standard, performance mode set to quality. Resume the game. FPS is close to 100. Moving the camera in complete circles. Yeah, frame generation got disabled. FPS dropped down to around 50. This is just insane. I am observing some minor graphical artifacts around Arthur's character model. Some garbled textures, fuzzy textures, inconsistent performance. I'll just change the search mode. Search mode set to high. Resume the game. FPS is close to 110. Moving the camera in complete circles. FPS is consistent now, staying close to 100. Graphical artifacts are noticeable. Garbled textures around Arthur. These garbled textures have become more aggressive now when I change the search mode from standard to high. Just start one mission. Check the game's performance. Need to interact with uncle. He's nearby. You can definitely play the game this way. Okay, I'm controlling this wagon. 90 FPS. Gain some speed. Again we are getting a stable performance. The graphical artifacts are not easily noticeable when I move the camera around at a normal speed like this. They become noticeable only when I move the camera around quickly. Now I'll be testing the next game. Now I'll be running the Epic Games version of GTA 3 Definitive Edition. Just click on your profile icon here, Epic Games Client. Click on Settings. Scroll down to the end. Look for GTA 3. There it is. Check this box next to additional command line arguments. Add this line -dx12. Now the game will be running in DirectX 12 mode. Improves the game's performance. Game settings: VSync enable, VSync disable, anti-lag setting enable, AFMF2 disable for the time being. Using the medium preset, display mode windowed full screen, frame rate set to 120, VSync disable, motion blur off, and that's it. Driving around Liberty City, here FPS is within a range of 36 to 45. Oh my god. It's the night time. Headlights and the street lights are very demanding on the GPU. It's a shame that physics in this game is still broken. Ram the street pole, it disappeared into the abyss. Gameplay is a bit choppy, hitting the GPU borderline. I'll just enable AFMF now. Status active, search mode set to standard, performance mode quality. Back to the game, FPS increased to around 80. Moving the camera in complete circles. Okay, frame generation effect got disabled. Getting a variable FPS. Can observe the choppiness. See, 48 FPS. Frame generation lag value, again it's under 20 milliseconds. Input delay is not an issue. This area is not very demanding, no street lights. Go back to the previous area. Need some cars as well. Okay, I'll just switch the mode now. Search mode set to high. Resume the game. Change my vehicle. Here FPS is close to 85. I'll just move the camera in complete circles. Okay, FPS dropped down to around 65. It's still better than the real 40 FPS. That choppiness is gone now. Drive around the place. Club is nearby. There it is. Previous vehicle. Not bad at all. Definitely use AFMF2 in this game. Looking for some graphical artifacts. There's a character. Textures are looking fine. 83 FPS. Destroyed the vehicle. The owner does not care. 60 FPS. Headlights are very demanding on the GPU. They are causing the FPS drop. Time to conclude the video. On ROG Ally with AFMF2 enabled, if you want to achieve a stable FPS during fast visual motion, just set the search mode to high. However, this will cause some minor graphical artifacts to appear. In order to reduce these graphical artifacts, you need to set the search mode to standard. But this will result in a very variable FPS during fast visual motion with the AFMF2 enabled. This is the price we have to pay to get the best image quality with frame generation enabled via AFMF2. Latency was not a problem with both of the presets of search mode. That's it with the video guys. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.